Fight Guys. I'm also a Forbes contributor, and I'm here with my fellow Fight Guy and Forbes contributor, Peter Kahn. What's going on, Pete?
Hey, everything's good. How are you doing?
Everything's great. We are trying something different in case you guys have not recognized, which I'm sure you have if you've watched shows before. So hopefully this works out pretty good. I'm sure you guys will let us know in the chat if it does not. So, but I always like to start it off asking you, like, what's going on? What's been happening? Because something's always happening.
Yeah, no,
So
everything's
I
good.
need you to let me know what's happening right now.
Everything's good. Everything's good in my world of boxing. Some good things happening. Went and watched some of my guys spar today.
Okay.
So that was good. Some good work for a lot of different guys, and everything's good. You know, I'm going to be heading out to Los Angeles next week with you.
Yes, I will be there.
We'll both be out there in LA. So maybe some of our associates out here. I'm not going to call them fans. We'll call them our friends.
No, those are friends. They're fellow Fight Guys.
Exactly. Our fellow Fight Guys could come out and see us. But we're going to be in LA. I have Chris Van Heerden fighting on the Top Rank show. And Brian and I are going to be out and about on the town, doing some interviews, talking to a lot of people, doing some fun stuff for the Fight Guys channel.
Yes, I am looking for it. I want to tell you guys something. Now, this is actually going to be the first time I've ever met Peter in person.
It's crazy.
Isn't that it's been
2
years.
2 years.
Yeah, it's been a couple years.
It's like we're like two people that have been like dating over the internet.
Yeah, well, not exactly, but yeah. Not really, but whatever.
We're gonna have to get someone to like video the whole, record the whole meeting.
Yeah. I'm quite. So are you? Let me know so we don't go in weird, right? So is it a handshake, just regular handshake, or is it? Because I'm the handshake to the hug guy.
Yeah, so, I'm a handshake to the hug.
Okay, because I just you don't want it to be weird. You don't want to go in and then
but remember, I'm 5'9", you're 6'5". It's just gonna be weird.
It's gonna be weird, but we'll work it out. We'll work it out.
But no, but literally, it's been 2 years. That literally we communicate on a daily basis, mostly because we're both Forbes contributors. So we make sure not to step on each other's toes. We talk about different stories, things that we're covering, and bounce a lot of things off of each other. And that's how this whole concept kind of came about, which was, through that whole interaction. So, I'm glad that it did. And then, this Fight Guys in what it is today, basically, was a product of us saying, we talk about this all day long anyway. We go back and forth, we communicate in chat, talk on the phone. Why not kind of create this forum where we can come out and do this and share this with other Fight Guys?
Absolutely, man. And already our man Ness Mendoza is
I love
here.
That guy.
That's my, you know what, Ness, I wish you were in LA. If you weren't, man, we'd have to meet at some place and get a bite to eat. I don't even drink, but we can get a beer just because Ness, you my guy. He gives us he gives us the fist bump and the peace. I appreciate you coming through.
But he's also a smart fight guy. I mean,
he is a smart fight guy. I mean, because he's watching us, so that makes him pretty freaking smart as it is. All right, let's jump into some of the stuff that we got for you guys today. Remember now, the show got off to a little bit of a late start today. I don't envision that happening on a regular basis. 8 a.m. I mean, not 8 a.m. That's crazy. That's not even 5 o'clock. 8 p.m.
Right.
8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's when we will convene.
Right, but Brian, let's just tell him. I mean, we had like a monkey wrench thrown into the situation.
We did. YouTube doesn't like us, but we found something else that works really good. It's really, I hope you guys are liking the visual experience.
YouTube loves us.
Yeah.
But the parent company got rid of Google Hangouts Air.
Yes.
And even though they've been warning people for like a year that it's going away, it went away.
And they didn't
really offer much of of a replacement. I mean, they did, but they really didn't. So we kind of had a tap dance, and Brian Unique Mazik was able to put this thing together like fast. So this was good.
Yeah, it's looking. I like the way it looks. So I hope you guys
like it too. This is good.
Yeah. So all right. Let's jump off. We got a few things that we want to talk about, but I also want to remind everybody, make sure you subscribe, hit that notifications bell. I'll probably try to remind you guys of that as much as possible, in case you don't subscribe yet. Also, and if you don't have the notifications bell here yet, make sure you do that. All right, but the first thing I want to get into today, and we're going to talk to, is what is going on with Canelo Alvarez. There is tons of drama around him. There's internal strife. There's indecision. I don't even think his fans know what's going on. Peter, what provide us some insight on what you know or what you believe might be happening right now.
Right. Well, look, on the record, I know nothing. Right. Like, I don't know what's going on behind the doors at Golden Boy. Excuse me. I don't know what's going on in Canelo's mind. But, to a certain extent, I know what's going on over at DAZN. But, really, and I think we talked about this last week because this was already brewing. This was already a story, and it hasn't really been resolved. And furthermore, since the IBF stripping him, since his September 14th date had already been canceled, and then he was ordered to fight Derevyanchenko, and that falling apart and him getting stripped. Now Ryan Garcia has come out talking about his frustrations. I think that what happens is a lot of people, I think there's a lot of moving parts, right? I mean, first and foremost, he signs the biggest deal, I would imagine, in boxing history, right? 11 fights, $35 million a fight, $350 million.
Well, Floyd says it's not the biggest deal, but
okay. Well, Floyd might have made more money so far, which is true. And Floyd might have been the highest paid fighter in a single fight, which is true. But he didn't have a contract like this.
Right.
Floyd earned all that money with guarantees and back end participation. This was a going in type of deal. And of course, none of us know the deal. 35 million, 11 fights. That's for aesthetics. That makes DAZN, Golden Boy, and Canelo look a certain way. I highly doubt that we're going to see all 11 fights. That's just my own my gut feeling. And I think that ultimately what it comes down to is we need to know sooner than later, right? I mean, the boxing public needs to know who's Canelo going to fight. And so I will say this: I did speak to someone at DAZN, and we went back and forth because I did write a story this past week in Forbes about this whole topic, how, it might be a blessing, Canelo getting stripped. It might be a blessing for the fans and for DAZN, primarily because it's going to maybe force Canelo and DAZN to actually fight these tougher fights. Maybe it does push them into an Andrade fight, in which the person at DAZN, a high-level person, told me it's unlikely. But that's what we need to see, right? Because we're still sitting here saying, who are the other options? Who is Canelo going to fight? And like I said, Danny Jacobs, that was a good matchup. I mean, no one can complain about that.
Yes.
That was a good matchup. And look, we talked about why mandatories exist in boxing, and they're important. And a lot of fans don't understand, if there's approximately a little over 2,000 active middleweights.
Yeah.
And you have to be in the top 15 to be eligible to fight for a world title. So the pool of potential people that are ever going to get to fight for a world title is very small. Then you take into account that Canelo fights twice a year, in May and September. Okay, he owns Cinco de Mayo weekend and he owns Mexican Independence Day. So 2 people get to get that opportunity out of 2,000.
Once a year. Yep.
Twice a year.
I mean,
So what I'm saying is, in that scenario, the reason the mandatory is important is because it allows for it's sort of helps the playing field a little bit. It prevents one promoter from just controlling that title and that narrative indefinitely. But that's why you're allowed to fight optionals. So that's why once he fights that mandatory, he has, I think, 9 months until he has to fight the mandatory again. But at the same time, if he unifies, he gets a special exception. So in this case, I mean, this is set up so that there's opportunity for people that normally wouldn't get opportunity. It might not be a fight that fans want to see, but I really truly believe that Canelo was, I mean, for him to go publicly on Twitter and say that he was surprised that he didn't know that Golden Boy had agreed that if they couldn't come to a deal that he would get stripped of that title. Obviously for him to come out, because this guy is usually very quiet.
Yes.
Like, I've never seen him on social media. All of a sudden he's tweeting.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Meaning something other than a picture of him in a car or in the gym or with his family. Now all of a sudden he's tweeting an actual message.
Yeah.
So I don't have any info. I don't have anything to share that, that I could say is definitive. But I think that right now, if it's not Andrade, you tell me who's he going to fight?
Well, the latest word that I heard was, and that I read was that he was more inclined to wait to see if Sergey Kovalev comes out with a clean victory on August 24th, based off of recent events and recent reports.
Right.
That seems a little shaky in itself.
But where does that fight take place? At light heavyweight?
That fight, yeah, the Canelo Sergey fight would be at light heavyweight.
Happens to his
all the titles?
What happens to his WBA middleweight title?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And here's something. Here's a fight that he could have, and we're gonna see a little bit of this later on this evening, because I did get an opportunity to sit down with Jean Pascal, who just upset Marcus Brown to win the WBA interim light heavyweight title. Jean Pascal is very much interested in a fight with Canelo.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't be?
Who wouldn't be? But what I'm thinking is, if
Canelo
if Canelo wants to go up to 175,
right,
and he also doesn't necessarily want to lose the WBA title, perhaps because it's in the same governing body, that's a decision he could make. He may even look at an easier fight against Pascal. I don't know how he views that.
But Brian, do the fans? I think that comes down to the same issue with the mandatory, right? Do people want to see him against Pascal?
Well, honestly, man, Pascal was mentioning this in the interview, and I wasn't completely sure when he said it, but then I kind of went back after I spoke to him. He was talking about how well he draws, especially when he fights in Canada. Now, obviously, Canelo's not going to fight him in Canada,
right?
But Pascal does have a pretty strong following amongst Canadians. Obviously, he has a following amongst Haitians as well, which is not quite as large of a group to sway in regards of a boxing community, and it's definitely not as strong as the Mexican following that Canelo has. But I think that, I mean, if you're looking at it, Pascal and Kovalev, based off the way Kovalev has been looking lately, I don't know. I don't know. It may be something where you end up taking or salvaging whatever you can from what's left.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Okay. Triple G is with DAZN.
Right.
Demetrius Andrade is with DAZN.
Right.
I just don't think it's that complicated to find the next guy for Canelo to
fight. I just wonder though, what's happening? What's going on?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right. To me, there's obviously something else.
I still feel there needs to be closure. I still feel a third Triple G fight is warranted, because I think the first one, the draw was very close. I think the second one could have gone either way. And I think Canelo was the benefit of what could have been another draw, but I scored for Triple G. So, I mean, what I'm saying is, why are we not even talking about the two actual fights that DAZN brought these other fighters on board to it just seems so natural.
Yeah, it's really is. I to me,
And we're talking about Kovalev. I mean, he has to get past Yard first.
Yeah,
and then when does what is that, a May date? Would we wait till May? So basically, Canelo fights
no,
once a year.
It from my understanding, it seemed like it would be another December date, like he did with Fielding.
Yeah, I don't think Kovalev's going to turn around that quickly.
Yeah, doesn't seem like
I just don't think he is. I mean, look, even if he wins, I just don't see him turning around that. I mean, August 24th. So,
but maybe would he potentially turn around that quickly for the biggest payday ever?
I mean, maybe, but I mean, I don't know.
So I don't know. I mean, we'll clearly see. But I totally understand what you're saying. Why are we acting like there's no obvious connection between him and Andrade and him and Golovkin?
Because from what I understand, DAZN's not trying to avoid those fights. They're trying to make those fights.
Yeah.
So it's
somebody
not
else is doing it.
Somebody else is avoiding those matchups because DAZN, I know this because I've spoken to people there. Like, that was the whole idea.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, why you're not going through what they went through to bring Triple G there if you don't, after you have already signed Canelo, if you don't have some designs.
Why don't I hear
on making that?
Right. Why don't I hear Callum Smith's name? He's with Eddie.
Yeah.
He's with Matchroom.
Yeah.
I mean,
but
I've
talked in the past about how I just feel like that's a horrible stylistic matchup for Canelo, but it makes perfect sense though from an alignment and streaming service, relationship. It makes perfect sense. I think it's a horrible matchup for Canelo though.
There are no impediments to making those fights.
Yeah, none at all, unless somebody just doesn't want to fight or somebody doesn't want to make the fight.
So interestingly enough, now we have Triple G and Sergey Derevyanchenko possibly going to purse bid. So now we have them not, I'm telling you, lose like the master of not making a deal for like the past couple of weeks now.
Yeah.
I think he wants a little bit more money and, should get as much money as he possibly can. But I wonder if they can reach a deal, if they're going to go down the list. And I don't even know who's behind.
Yeah, I'd have to. Who's behind Derevyanchenko?
Well, I think he's ahead of Triple G. I don't know.
Yeah, I can tell you that in a second. But we do have a comment from Peter Liu, and Peter Liu is saying that DAZN makes more money with Canelo Triple G 3, and that's the fight that everybody wants. So
I want to ask him. Just fair question. How do they? I want him to answer it. Peter, how do they make more money?
How do they make more money with?
How does DAZN make more money?
So Peter Khan says, how does DAZN make more money with Canelo and Triple G? If that fight happens?
I'd like to see that fight. But I want to know how they make more money.
Yeah, Derevyanchenko is ahead of Golovkin. Golovkin's third, and number 2 is vacant. Camille Zarameta is next. And sure, no one wants to see Derevyanchenko, Camille Zarameta.
Right. So anyway, I mean, remember the issue with DAZN is that I think they want. Remember, we talked about this. They had approved, the only 2 people they approved.
Peter Liu says more subscriptions.
Right. I agree with him. I mean, I want him to say that answer, and that's it. I mean, sure, but they can get those same. I mean, that's what they're pushing for. I mean, that's what DAZN wants. DAZN wants that fight. That's what I was just getting at.
I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. I mean, it's kind of like you bring a guy and a girl that you think, and you're trying to match them up because you want them to get married. And you think they're perfect for each other, and you bring them to the same party, but do you refuse to allow them to be in the same room together? No, you want to make sure they get in the same room together because the whole point was to get them together. The whole point of bringing Triple G to DAZN was to have the third fight and for them to eat off of it and for them to get subscriptions off of it. And so it's not DAZN that's holding this up. Clearly, it would make no sense.
They approved Kovalev and Triple G.
Yeah,
and they couldn't make the Kovalev fight. Next thing you know, Kovalev's fighting Yard. And Triple G he was in the wings waiting.
Yeah.
And now Canelo gets stripped. And you and I know, because we spoke to Demetrius Andrade on this show. We had him as a guest, and you and I both know, he's like, look, I'll fight anybody. Just
he's ready, and
make the call.
I truly believe he thinks and feels that he will beat Canelo if he gets an opportunity.
Right.
I think it's a great fight for him. So we'll see what happens, but we're gonna go ahead and jump into the next subject. World Breaker Fighting is in, saying, what's going on, fight guys? Hi, Peter. I feel bad. World Breaker Fighting never says hi, Brian.
He likes you, and he's probably saying, he's like, hi, Peter, and he probably thinks I'm the biggest jerk because
maybe
he does, because I owe him an apology, and I have to go on his stream. Let me tell you, it's entertaining.
Yeah,
he's entertaining, and I like talking to him. I text with him and message with him offline, and I got to tell you, I like his attitude, because he's patient with me, because Brian, like during the day, I'm running a business, right?
Yeah.
And let me tell you, he's like,
he said he just found out my name.
Yeah. So let me tell you though, I like him though, and everyone should tune in, by the way. So he should give himself a shout out in the chat, because
I feel good.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Let me tell you, yeah, beautiful. But it's no, it's entertaining. Look, he gives his own take. And he has a particular point of view, and he says things that he brings things into the conversation that a lot of people don't want to I guess talk about sometimes.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about race and boxing, and
I can be that guy as well. So you know what I mean? So because sometimes offline, Peter and I will have conversation, and I'll say something to Peter, and Peter's like, oh my God.
Yeah. But listen, it's a reality, and it is a reality. And so I'm just curious what his take is, because what's his take on the whole Canelo situation too. I'm just, I know he had been talking a lot about that over the past couple of days.
Sure.
But
all right, so but you could definitely chime that in, a world breaker, and we'll definitely get to it. Let's jump to the next subject, because we got a couple things. We were talking about this a little bit already, but let's talk about Jean Pascal's huge upset. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Peter and I talked about this, right? And we were like, yeah, and it's
we rolled our eyes,
and we both were like, okay, right.
Let me tell you, man. 9 out of 10 times, Marcus Brown. Listen, Marcus Brown lost that fight. Okay.
Yeah.
He got knocked down twice. Pascal came and did what he was supposed to do. And I don't know what kind of like lost for words, because the only thing I could think is Brown. At this stage of Pascal's career, I don't know how he was able to beat a previously undefeated Brown. Who the only thing I could think is maybe just completely overlooked this fight.
Yeah. I don't know what he looked. He definitely looked as if he was extremely overconfident. He did not box with the same level of caution and judgment of distance that he generally does. And I think that he underestimated Jean Pascal's awkwardness, and how that awkwardness can create a problem, because that first right hand that he got caught with.
Yep.
I mean, you ever see a guy get knocked down and they try to get up really quick as if it was a flash knockdown, but you really don't have your legs yet, bro. Yeah, and that's exactly what happened.
Zab Judah Costa Zoo.
Oh yeah. But it wasn't that bad, but it was. It was.
He ran the risk of like falling through the ropes.
Yes. Trying to get up.
But here's the thing,
shaking it off.
Yeah, I mean, look, we got it wrong. Nobody picked Pascal. Okay. Right. All the props to him for showing up, and that's what a good veteran does, right?
Yeah.
He came to fight. After the Badou Jack fight, maybe Brown was a little overconfident.
Yeah.
Maybe he didn't prepare as much. Look, forget about Canelo. I'd actually like to see this fight as a rematch.
Oh, I think it's well. There is a rematch clause.
I want to see that. I want to see that
Yeah,
as a rematch.
Marcus Brown holds the rematch clause. Pascal, I don't want to give away everything from the interview that we did that'll go up a little bit later on the night. But Pascal desperately wants that rematch to be held in Canada. He wants everything in Canada.
Okay.
So, but he's saying, like, obviously he's pointing to the draw and the lack of draw for Marcus Brown in his hometown and so on and so forth. So it might make sense, even for Marcus Brown to do that. But I mean, Pascal is a guy who you watch and sometimes you wonder how he's been effective, but I think it's the wildness, and he's a really good athlete too.
Right.
Just overall, the wildness is something that I think really gives people a problem, and it gave Marcus Brown a problem because he got caught with that overhand right, and then he got dropped 2 more times in the 7th.
Right.
So, yeah.
We were wrong. We were wrong.
Yeah, and it happens.
So was the rest of the world.
Yeah, pretty much everybody but John Pascal. So I mean, yeah,
Actually, I bet Ness Mendoza had Pascal winning.
He probably did. Ness, I don't know if Ness is still here, but if he did, yeah. Fight Girl chimed in. I'm gonna drop her in here. She says she wants to know about the fight, the Donaire anyway fight. So we're gonna talk about that in a second. So I just don't want you to think we were ignoring you. But Think Cap says, yep, Pascal went the distance with Bivol recently. He did. It was really one-sided, but he did go the distance, which is more than can be said for a lot of guys who have
Stop it.
I didn't say it.
Stop it.
Never ever said the words. So that's an inside thing.
I had a guy that fought Bivol for the WBA world title a year and a half ago. He got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah, Trent Broadhurst.
Yeah.
It didn't work out. But
hey, but we were in Monaco.
We're in Monaco, and he got a payday for a world title fight. So
exactly.
Hey, it
moving
is what
right
it
along.
Is. All right, moving right along. Same card, actually, which was the feature fight, which is the Kownacki against Chris Arreola fight.
Your favorite fighter?
Yes, I really like this kid. I really do. I really like Kownacki. I really do. He's tough. He can crack. He's actually a better boxer than you might expect. He's not fantastic as a boxer, but with the size, the arm length, the toughness, and the power, he's a formidable heavyweight. He is. I don't think he beats Deontay. I think he gets knocked out. I think somebody might have to stop the fight though, because the dude is super tough. I'm really wondering if he could take the right hand and not go away.
I just want to see him fight Andrew Ruiz so that we could just see that poster.
That would be beautiful, wouldn't it? Girth on girth. the girth bowl. So it would be interesting though.
Hey, but listen, one hell of a fight. I mean, the volume of punches and the action. I mean,
yeah,
it was a great fight.
why I wanted to kind of just talk about it a little bit, not spend a lot of time on it, but I wanted to talk because it was a really good fight. It was,
it was a good fight.
I'm gonna give props to Joe Goosen because that's the best I've seen Chris Arreola look in. I can't even remember when. Like, he lost, but that was the best I've seen him look. I can't remember the last time I watched Chris Arreola fight and go, man, Chris don't look too bad today. And he did not look bad at all. So I give Joe Goosen some. Joe Goosen's kind of, does it seem like because it felt like for a while he had fallen out of relevance as a trainer. But now it seems like things are kind of like bubbling back up again. I don't know. I believe he has Sergey Lipinets as well, right?
Yes, Sergey. Sergey Lipinets. Yeah. Listen, Joe Goosen's been a very good trainer for a very long time. And I think it's just a matter of opportunity. If trainers, there's two types of opportunity: fighters you build from the ground up, and fighters that transition to you because they want you to bring them back.
Yeah.
So I mean, it seems like he's getting in a lot of those situations right now.
Okay.
Which are good. I mean, he's proven, and I think that his exposure on DAZN as well has been good for him.
It's PBC, right? He's on
I
PBC.
meant I meant on Fox. I meant
Yeah,
Fox.
yeah.
So his exposure on Fox has been good for him as well.
Mhm,
And I think you see the theme over there with the fighters you just mentioned and
mhm.
his on-air presence. I think he's getting more opportunity just in
Yeah,
general, you know.
yeah.
So
I think he's so far he's
plus his
doing.
his brother was very close with the head guy over there at PBC.
Yeah,
So I think there's a lot of I'm not going to say favoritism, but there's just a lot of open doors for him, and I think it's
yeah.
helped. I think it's good for him. But I
It
think
is.
he's doing a good job.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, he's doing pretty well with the opportunity, I would say. All right, let's talk about what's up in this week. This week in boxing, it's not a crazy stacked boxing schedule. It's honestly August has been pretty light overall. Like after September, and we had a lot of really strong months in a row. We don't really see things really get popping until the 24th. But we have, yeah, obviously the fight we're gonna be at for on the 17th is a solid fight. It's a world title fight. But this weekend, the best fight I think on tap is Virgil Ortiz Jr. against Antonio Orozco, and that's a zone fight. That's a Golden Boy
Hmm.
card. What do you know? I've watched Virgil Ortiz fight.
Hmm.
You know, good amount of times. What's your thoughts on him
I
and
think
this fight?
he's I mean, look, I think he's proven to be a real prospect.
Hmm.
I think he needs a good step up fight to be considered a contender.
Hmm.
But he's doing the right things. I mean, he's moving along the right way. And he's been entertaining.
Yeah.
So, I think what he needs is I think they're doing the right thing with him. So, whether it's Robert Diaz matching the fights the way that they should to bring him along.
Hmm.
He's one of those guys that's eventually going to be he'll go from prospect to contender to world title challenger. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, that's the avenue it's going. It just depends how they're going to get him there. Meaning, uh, the opportunity. They might have to just keep going along until they get him into a mandatory position.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the biggest name on this weekend is Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Hmm.
So he makes his return this weekend against Colombian fighter Everett Bravo.
Hmm.
Um, Bravo's he's he's taking some lumps. Let's just say that
Right.
he's 25-10 with nine of his losses coming by knockout. And while he is coming off a knockout victory, he lost the three fights before that, all by knockout.
Hmm.
So clearly, this is a fight where Junior is being set up. Um, to shine for a replay I mean for a resurgence. So I'm hearing a lot about what Chavez Jr. wants to do
Hmm.
down the road. um do you think that he has anything left really?
I mean, look, he had a chance to do it. And he didn't do anything in his last
Hmm.
fight that we saw. I mean, was that his last fight? Was Canelo the last fight?
um Canelo, let's see, was Canelo the last fight? I don't think. Yeah, Canelo was the last fight.
Right.
That
I
was, yeah,
mean,
that was
which is his
2 years ago.
his own father said, his son laid an egg.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think we'll see. I think that fighting in a see, this is what I think, right? And I
Hmm.
manage fighters, and I say this to my own fighters, right? There are guys that are at different levels in their career. When
Right.
you've already been at the level where you fought for a world title, and whether you were a world champion and then lost, and you're coming back, or whether you're a guy that challenged for a world title and lost. Once you're a guy that has like 20 something plus fights,
Hmm.
unless you've been out for a year, right? You don't need tune-ups like this. I mean,
Right.
they're obviously giving him this because he's been so inactive,
Yeah.
but this doesn't really serve any purpose. I
Hmm.
mean, at a fighter of his stature with the experience he has should be fighting a better opponent in a comeback fight. Look,
Yeah, I mean, he's
I understand
33
the
years
ring rust.
old.
I understand the ring rust. Okay,
Mhm.
but I mean, so really, if anything, it should be one tune up, and then really just like as I like to tell everybody, I tell my own fighters, I'm like, you're gonna have to walk through fire. Like
Mhm.
guys that are in a certain position, like you're gonna fight this tune up, and then you're gonna walk through fire. It's not gonna be handed to you. I mean, I don't know what anybody gains, what boxing gains, what he really gains. I understand he has to get back in the ring, he has to shake off the rust, and then maybe look for something bigger. But this just looks like a guy that's going to give him some rounds and eventually will end in KO.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even know how many rounds he's gonna give him, to be honest. It seems like
And that's the thing about ring rust. If you're not going to get the work, then it's the tune-up's counterproductive.
yeah.
I mean, if you're going to go in there and get rid of someone in 9 minutes, then you really didn't shake off the rust.
No, no, not at all.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, this looks like a couple hard body shots and Everett Bravo's gonna be on one knee,
So,
looking,
you know,
so we'll find out. We'll see.
yeah.
But yeah, if there was ever a weekend for you to be like, yeah, I don't know if we'll watch boxing this weekend, this one might be the one because it's not a lot going on for sure. All right, let's jump on. We're gonna talk about this is some of the quicker things that have been happening this over the past 24 to 48 hours in boxing. Not spending a lot of time on these, but I think it was interesting just to mention them at all. J Rock, Julian
Mhm.
Williams, implying that Jared Hurd is avoiding VADA testing.
Okay.
He's saying that, he tweeted today, he said, "Hey, you guys, we can talk about a fight, the rematch happening all we want, but it's not happening until Jared Hurd submits to VADA testing." He said these guys are dragging their feet. He's like, "What is the big holdup?" And he used the thinking emoji.
Mhm.
So, I don't know what's going on there, why they won't take the test, haven't done it as of yet. I don't know how late they are according to the deadlines or how close they are to that. Um, but definitely is something that Julian Williams wanted to throw into the narrative as this rematch comes and moves closer. So why do you think what's the benefits do you see that Jared Hurd is waiting or not
I mean,
taking the
first
test?
of all, we don't know, right? We don't know if
Mhm.
that's even true. So
Right.
I'm not doubting
Mhm.
what
Julian
J-Rock's
Williams.
saying, but I'm just saying, like, we don't know if that's the case, right? We just know what he's saying.
Right.
So that's number one. Number two, you know, I think that the WBC has it right overall, which is in order to be eligible to fight for their title, you have to be in the clean boxing program,
Mhm.
which is administered by VADA. So you're either registered for VADA or you're not. You're either
Right.
participating in a 365 random drug test environment or you're not.
Mhm.
So, like I said, we don't know if it's true. It's very simple. Send an email to, Margaret Goodman and ask her, is he enrolled?
Yeah.
If he's not enrolled, then you just ask, then you can say, why is he? I mean, did Jarrett Hurd respond?
No, not yet.
I mean, I don't know. To me, it just shouldn't even be a problem. Just shouldn't even be like no fighter should ever say, no, I don't want to participate. It's just the craziest thing.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
why would you not want to, like, if you actively don't want to participate
right.
in random drug testing, then
Mhm.
like the assumption is that you're hiding something.
Well, yeah, and so there was some follow-up. So while Jared Hurd didn't respond, Gabriel Montoya did. So Gabriel Montoya, um, he's somewhat involved in. I've seen him involved in uh, some of the discussions around VADA testing with some of the boxers recently, and he says that as a reminder that currently no one is enrolled in VADA testing's 360 testing program that ensures a fighter will be tested many times over a year. Fighters enrolled in the WBC VADA CBP are merely
Mhm,
eligible for testing. The
mhm.
two programs are often confused.
Okay, clean boxing program
Hmm.
means that they are available and understand that they can be tested at any time.
Hmm.
VADA and their criteria has certain protocols and timing as far as that's concerned. it just shouldn't be a concern.
Right.
If someone wants to come and take a piss test from you every day of the year, you shouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think it's an assumption until someone could actually say that Hurt is not enrolled. Then I think we're just going off a tweet that Julian Williams said.
Right. Okay.
So I mean, I'm just saying, like, maybe it's true, maybe it's not true. But you're asking me what I think. I think that if you're a fighter that has nothing to hide, what does it matter?
What does it matter? Come with it.
You get up in the morning and take a piss anyway, right? Just
Yeah.
piss in a cup every day.
Right.
Unless you're gonna pop up pregnant like the basketball player in Europe.
Oh my God. Oh God. Let's not.
I mean,
Oh,
talk about taking the wrong urine.
Oh my God. Sir, you're pregnant.
No, it's like we have good news and bad news.
Right.
The good news
You're
is
clean.
you're clean. Yeah. The bad news, you're having twins. I mean,
Right. All right. Next up, what Fight Girl was talking about a little bit earlier. Anyway, Naoya Inoue taking on Inoue-Donaire. It is finally set for November the 7th. Is the final of the World Boxing Super Series Classic, and it's for the WBA Bantamweight title. I'm going to tell you right now, I am super stoked for this fight. And here's the thing. I expect oh my God. It's not going past 3. It's not going past 3. And I would be shocked out of my shoes if Inoue didn't win. But
anybody can get caught.
Anybody can get caught, and Donaire still has a nasty left hook. But
it's a good fight.
You never hook with a hooker.
Even
they're both hookers,
right?
So it's gonna be, man. I can't wait. I haven't been that excited for a fight in this weight class, or even in that weight region. I would say since Donaire fought Rigondeaux. I was really excited for that fight too. I'm looking forward to it. I am. So I don't know. I have Inoue winning, and I got him winning within the first 3 rounds. But it's gonna be some furniture moving, as we would say. So it's gonna be. I can't wait. So very excited about that. November 7th.
Well, wait, what does Fight Girl think?
That's what I'm waiting. I wanted to see what Fight Girl thought.
She's still around?
Right. I hope she is. She said she wanted to know, I guess, what we thought about the Donaire Inoue fight, but I think she might have bounced out on us. Don't leave us so fast, Fight Girl.
Oh, okay.
Don't leave us so fast. So maybe she's typing. I don't know. But yeah, it's gonna be a great fight. I really I can't wait. I mean, I hope sometimes we say that, and then what ends up happening, somebody takes a headbutt in the second round or something, which we're gonna talk about something like that in a second. But I hope that's not what happens. I hope we actually get good stuff. All right, so let's move on to another. This is a pretty big one though here. Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz rematch. Suddenly, the United Arab Emirates is emerging as a actual legitimate location. It's not just like something people are throwing out there. Supposedly, there was a very handsome offer made to have the fight there. I think most people believe, and I think it's right to think this, is that Joshua will want the rematch in the UK, obviously in Cardiff, more than likely. But if the dollar amount is significant enough from UAE, then what do you think? Do you think he would give up home field advantage for that just to get the bigger check?
He already, number one, this fight's not about a check. Okay. This fight is more about his legacy to himself.
Right.
He's already made a ton of money. And he's already accomplished a lot, right? But for him to come back from a loss and adversity, excuse me, no matter what the circumstances were surrounding it, he lost on June 1st.
Right.
So I think all the speculation on our behalf and the media and fans and even Ruiz and Joshua, I mean, in my opinion, a fight like this should be in Las Vegas. I think Las Vegas would get a huge turnout. I think all the stars will come out, all the big players will come out, all the whales will come out. Whatever casino gets behind it's gonna be a success. I mean, I think that's It's just, I think that's no home field advantage for anyone. I think
Right.
Las Vegas is, it's just, I think everyone gets a fair shake. I think it's unlikely that it's going to be in Cardiff. I think that's just probably a sticking point for Ruiz, that he's looking for what he calls a neutral site. I don't see how the UAE is going to be good for this fight, because no boxing fans are going to go.
Yeah.
So where are they going to do this where boxing fans are going to go? I mean, I just don't see who's going to the UAE to watch this
Well,
fight.
I don't think you're gonna get a lot of American boxing fans, but I think I don't know. I don't I think that I agree with you. This fight is not about a check. This fight for Anthony Joshua is about his legacy, as you said. This is about righting the first wrong on his record. Because I think he realizes, and people around him realizes, that he really can't move forward with his career in the same light that they would like him to move
Look,
forward in without
right,
beating Ruiz. If he doesn't beat him, he can't move forward.
right.
So,
I mean, I've signed PBC contract.
mhm,
I've signed Matchroom contract. I know what the I know what the options and the terms around the options look like. The numbers are different for everybody, but Ruiz had already locked in his price going into that fight.
mhm. Oh, absolutely.
So,
There's nothing to talk about.
there's nothing to talk about, man. That
Yeah.
that that was we're going to give you this opportunity. They don't call it a rematch clause. It's just options.
Mhm.
Whether it's one option, two options, whatever they agreed upon, it's options.
Yeah.
It's not called the rematch clause.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is all
It's
just
Matchroom gets the immediate
yeah.
option to fight Ruiz within X amount of days, and has to notify him within X amount of days. And the fight has to take place within X amount of days for this amount of money.
Right.
Okay. So at this point, maybe because of the upset and this and that, and for whatever reason, Ruiz is trying to dictate something. It doesn't work like that. All the talk and all the nonsense, and I call the shots now. It doesn't matter. In the end, Matchroom's going to determine what Matchroom wants to do. And it's going to be whatever's best for Matchroom, who's promoting the show, who's
Right.
paying them, who's paying the money.
Right.
It's on DAZN, right? So we already know it's on DAZN, which means that it's a subscription based fight. You buy your subscription, you get to watch that fight. And I think to a certain extent, there was so many people were like emotionally vested in that first fight and the outcome and the why and the how and the what.
Mhm.
Listen, do a rematch, take it to Las Vegas. They'll Tons of people will come out for that fight. That'll be a massive fight week in Las Vegas. So, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know what it does when we hear about the UAE and where these stories like come from. Um, I think Eddie Hearn recently said that it's pretty much all but wrapped up, and they're just waiting for some paperwork. I don't know, but I think it's not so complicated. Bring it back to Madison Square Garden. I think that that Las Vegas would be a fantastic place. I think that's neutral ground, and I think Joshua would have no problem fighting in Vegas.
Yeah, I think that would be a great place. I don't think that's where it'll be. I
No, I'm
think
just
it'll
saying. I mean, I'm just
yeah.
telling you what I think it should be. I mean,
Right.
it might end up in Cardiff. I don't know. I just
Yeah, I
think
think
that
it'll be in the UK.
they just have to announce it and get on with it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm almost feels like I would be shocked if it's anywhere else. I did think there was some value with him coming back to the United States and winning.
Hmm.
I felt like there would be, especially since this is a legacy fight more so
Hmm.
than a paycheck fight. I did think there would be something there for him to be able to say, "Hey, I came back to your country and righted the wrong. I didn't take it back home." I mean, obviously, if he knocks him out, it doesn't matter. But which is yeah, if he knocks him out, it really doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm expecting it to be in the UK. So
Yeah, and if Andrew Ruiz is lobbying for the fight to take place in Mexico, but won't go to the UK. I mean, I don't know. I just think it's so much talk. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It's
yeah,
just fight the second fight. I'm starting to agree with you. I think Joshua's going to smash him in the rematch. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think he's going to knock him out.
That's what I think is going to happen.
I think he's going to.
I think from the first second of round one, he's going to be dialed in, and I think he's going to hurt him and knock him out.
Yeah, I do. I think I don't know if he'll knock him out that early because
no, but I mean, it's just going to happen.
Yeah, I think he's just going to dominate him with length, and I think he's going to tie him up on the inside to keep the hand speed thing down, and I think that he's going to hurt. I mean, let's put it.
I think he's going to catch him coming in and knock him out.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't as if he wasn't catching him already. He was like Joshua lit him up, knocked him down flat early, and then even before every time he got hurt later in the fight, it was right after he'd hurt Ruiz. So it's not finding Ruiz obviously wasn't the issue. It's the defensive aspect of it that he has to clean up, and I think that's what they will work on for sure. So, all right, so let's see. Another heavyweight is about to fight, and Tyson Fury. This fight is September 17th, I think, or September 14th. 14th. Otto Wallin. So a lot of people are probably wondering who in the world is Otto Wallin. So I'm going to try to help you guys know a little bit more about Otto Wallin. In case you haven't looked him up, he's 20-0. He's a 6'5.5" Swedish fighter. He is a southpaw. He's only 28, so he is pretty young. He is promoted by Dimitri Salita, who Peter knows very well. But if you're wondering what kind of competition Wallin has faced, and you're going to see his name, I just showed you his name, and a lot of people are probably pronouncing this Wallin or Wallin or whatever way, but it's Wallin. He's a big guy. He's got looks like decent power, but it's really hard to say one way or the other because he hasn't been in there with anybody. He hasn't been in there with anybody.
Listen, I don't want to take a big dump on the fight.
Oh, Peter McNeely, or is it Peter Khan or Peter McNeely? I don't know. I thought it was.
Just I did that for your sake.
Dumping your pants.
Yeah, I did that for your sake. I mean, listen,
the greatest thing ever.
We can talk about it, but I know nothing about Otto Wallin, and I think that it's just a waste of time. I mean, listen, I get it. Guys from around the world, everyone deserves to get a shot. What I'm saying is I just don't think it's going to be a competitive fight. I think it's going to be another Tom Schwartz type of fight. Keep Fury busy, but look, I get it too. I mean, these other guys, they're fighting, they're winning. Guys, need to get chances and get shots. And I think after two of these, it could kind of shut people up a little bit and let's get on with Fury fighting the bigger names in the division.
Yeah, I don't want to see another one of these. I can only do one or more of these with Fury. I can only do one more.
Well, think about it. He did two of those leading into Wilder.
Yes.
He's doing two more of these, hopefully leading into something big.
Yeah, because I don't want to do this anymore.
No.
This is kind of.
I don't even know how to even talk about this fight.
Well, I told you about Otto now.
Yeah.
Otto's last win was over. Well, actually, it wasn't even a win. It was a no contest over Nick Kistner. They
Stop it. Hey, stop it.
Listen, you
stop it.
The name of this segment is Who is Otto Wallin?
Okay.
You gotta tell people who Otto Wallin is.
So the last guy he beat has become like a journeyman cruiserweight.
The last guy he beat was Adrian Granat. Nick, he beat him.
Wait a second. He beat. No, I'm not even joking. So did he beat Adrian? When did he beat Adrian Granat?
He beat Adrian Granat in April of 2018.
How did he beat him?
Unanimous decision.
Okay, so Granat was actually a highly touted prospect.
Yes.
Who then got stopped unexpectedly, and I forgot who stopped him.
Dimitrenko.
Okay. So Granat he can fight, and he's a big guy.
Yeah,
he's a big guy too. So he can fight. So, all right. So he went 10 rounds with him?
Yes.
Okay. How many losses does Granat have now? Was this the second loss?
That was the second loss. Yeah.
Okay. So they were bringing him back, and this was sort of like probably a make or break fight. Yeah. Then you have Kistner, who Nick Kistner was a decent cruiser who's now probably what, 5 or 6 losses?
Well, 4.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's kind of entering that opponent realm.
Yes.
But he's tough.
Mm-hmm.
But he's tough. How did that fight go?
That fight, and he's also drastically undersized because he's only
Yeah.
5'11".
Right. I guess.
That fight ended in the first round because there was a headbutt. Kistner
Okay.
had a horrible gash over his eye, and
Right.
Wallin had a gash in his
Okay.
hairline. So
So,
you
but
didn't even
Kistner
get a
was
chance to see
tough.
anything.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. If
Mhm.
you look at his record, you'll notice that he's also done some rounds with some pretty good guys. But then I think he went overseas, might have gone to Poland or something like that, and then lost either Poland or Russia.
Yeah, got knocked out by Riyad Murhi but that was in 2017.
Where?
In well, I don't know where this is. Charleroi. I don't know where that is.
Okay, but it wasn't. It was overseas.
Yes, it was definitely overseas. So I
Right.
don't know,
Okay.
but
I mean,
he was
so here's the
undefeated.
deal. He's who did he fight before Granat?
Who did? Let's see. Otto
Wallin fight
Wallin
before
fought
Granat. We're trying to tell people who he is, so I'm trying to give some
Serdan
context.
Serdan Govadarica,
And who about before that?
Gianluca Mandras,
And before that?
Rafael Zumbano.
All right, so I know none of these people. So the people I do know are Granat and Kistner. So he
Yeah,
did
those
step
are
up his
the last
level.
2 fights. So
Okay, so he did step up competition, but I just can't see this going well for him against Fury.
nah, it's not. It's going to be terrible. But the thing of it is that people are going to search and they're going to want to know who
Right.
Otto Wallin is.
Did
So
we lose our entire audience on this segment just now?
I hope we didn't. Who wouldn't want to know about Otto Wallin?
Well,
Come on.
is World Breaker still with us?
I hope so. Who wouldn't want to
Because if
know
he
about
is, he
Otto Wallin?
loves Tyson Fury.
Ness Mendoza says he agrees. I don't know what he agreed with,
Doesn't matter.
but
He agrees with us. We
he
like him.
agrees. So he's our guy. He's our
World Breaker
freaking
gone. If he's there, he loves Tyson Fury. I'm being sarcastic. Goes off on him.
He goes off on him regularly. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? All right, last thing we're going to talk about today is we like to get historical here a little bit, right?
Mm,
A lot of
okay.
people like to talk about Mount Rushmores and sort of things, that sort of thing. And I kind of
Right.
want to do this for every weight class, but we're going to start off with something easy, right?
Okay.
I want everybody that's in the chat right now, I want them to chime in. But I want to know your Mount Rushmore for the heavyweight division.
Ooh,
Who is
heavyweights.
on your Mount Rushmore?
So I got 4 guys.
You got 4 guys, unless you know of another
Okay.
Mount Rushmore
Well,
that has more than 4 faces on it.
no, but I mean, but my 4th is going to be a tie because
Okay.
my first 3 I know, like I just know from just my gut of. So I'll say number 1 is Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
Number 2, Mike Tyson. Then I'm gonna go to Evander Holyfield, and then the next is just like a tie for me
Mhm.
would be like Larry Holmes, Lennox Lewis. Um, that's and I know I just named like 5,
Yeah,
but
you just made a whole nother mountain, but it's okay.
all right. But okay. So if I have to do it, it's gonna be and then I could kind of give you my reasons why. I don't consider Joe Lewis a heavyweight. I think
Uh,
he was like 175 pounds. I'm just saying, I know he fought in the division,
mhm.
okay, but that all changed. So, I also think the level of competition and, when you look at it that way, gosh, I mean, you know that this is a tough division
Oh,
because then you
absolutely.
you could say Vitaly Klitschko. I mean, but if I'm going to go with it just based on how I feel, my gut,
Mhm.
I'm going to say Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, um, uh, Evander Holyfield, and I'm going to say Lennox Lewis.
Okay. Now, it's funny because I thought we were gonna have exactly the same, but we didn't. First of all, I'm gonna tell you. All right. So Muhammad Ali is on mine for sure,
Hmm.
obviously. And I'm actually surprised that you said this because I planned on saying this. But Mike Tyson is absolutely on my Mount Rushmore of
Okay.
heavyweights,
Why are
and
you
it's
surprised I'd say it?
because I don't necessarily think that Mike Tyson is one of the four greatest heavyweights. But to me, when we're talking about the Mount Rushmore, I
Mhm.
think we're talking about more than just greatness. We're talking about impact.
Just
It's
everything.
it's
Right, exactly.
everything.
I mean, we're not just this is not just
His
about yeah, this is about his impact on the sport historically.
is almost immeasurable, right? I mean,
Mhm.
just overall, his presence, the whole nine,
The
right?
aura, the whole bit.
Everything. So he's got to be there,
Mhm.
right? Uh, I put Evander Holyfield there, which some people may have some sort of,
There we
issue with
go.
that,
Okay.
but I think it's the greatest chin I've ever seen in
3 for
heavyweight
3.
boxing. Um, just the wheel on the inside on the inside the ring just is, especially in the heavyweight division, it's something that I've never seen any other person match
Mhm.
that. um he literally did things that I didn't think he was capable of doing, and he did it multiple times. So it's just amazing. But my last one, I don't have a tie. um, I do have Joe Louis there, and I'm gonna have to say Joe Louis never fought at 175 pounds. He was almost
Okay.
always over 200 pounds, at
I
least
don't know.
according to the
I don't know
records.
why I thought that then.
Yeah, almost always over 200
Are you
pounds.
sure about
Definitely
that?
positive, at
Okay.
least according to the records.
Okay.
You know,
My bad.
um, yeah, always over 200 pounds.
Okay.
Definitely a small heavyweight for
Right.
sure. No, and definitely a guy who I would have a real hard time seeing him, standing there with Larry Holmes, standing there with the bigger heavyweights, the Lennox Lewis's and the Riddick Bowes. But
Right.
I can't judge him on that. I had to judge him on his era. And
Mhm.
if you want to talk about impact, the whole nine, everything, the
I
aura,
know the whole story.
it's, I mean, wow. I mean,
Sure.
I don't know how you could have a more impacting career than what he had. So
Sure.
he has to
But you
be
saw
there.
how I kind that was my asterisk. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
I feel you. I feel you.
I basically said to you I wasn't including him. I mean, we almost went 4 for 4.
We
Um,
did. I thought we were. I was like, God, I think I'm gonna have to like say Max Schmeling or something just to make a difference.
no, no, but there have been, like I said, it's all about criteria. And then I think that when you look at, yeah, Lennox Lewis was knocked out twice, but he avenged both those losses. Like
Oh
it
yeah.
just it depends how you view a guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
the end of
disparage him
Mike's
enough.
career was like very unceremonious. You know what I mean? Mike just sort of like just imploded, right?
Hmm.
I mean, you know,
I like the Klitschko thing though. I definitely like the Klitschko thing.
Vitali could, look, they had a long. I mean, Larry Holmes, one of the most underrated heavyweights ever.
I think he is the most underrated heavyweight ever.
So I mean, Mount Rushmore, yeah, Mount Rushmore, yeah, we have to put 4. So I gave
Yeah.
my 4. Those were my
Yeah.
4. I admire Lennox Lewis because of how he was able to come back after defeat, but
Hmm.
also the dominance that he had. And I think the quality of fighters that he did fight
Yeah.
um, along the way. So
Fought everybody except for
it's
Bo.
a everyone except for Bo.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, I mean Riddick Bowe, if he didn't retire at 28 years old and would have kept fighting, might have been on this list.
I think he would have been.
But that was but he's not.
Yeah. Well, Ness Mendoza, we
Hmm.
gotta make sure we rep for Ness. Ness says he has Ali,
Hmm.
Mike Tyson, Holyfield, and Vitaly. Not
Okay.
Vladimir,
Yeah,
Vitaly.
Italy was better. I
He
think
was
so.
better, but I can't put him on the Mount Rushmore ahead of Vladimir because of what Vladimir accomplished.
Yeah, I mean it's different for everybody.
Yeah.
It's like there's no right or
Nah,
wrong. I mean,
nah.
my
Sure
list is
mountain. A
mine.
sure
It's my
mountain.
mount, exactly.
Sure mountain.
You know, but yeah, there's some there's some arguments that can be made for so many different guys. I mean, part of me still thinks like Larry Holmes was just underappreciated, but
Yeah.
I don't think he had the impact in
Oh, I'm
boxing.
sorry. Okay. He said Vlad, I mean. He meant Vlad. He meant Vlad.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
could see that too.
It's your mountain, Ness.
Yeah, I
It's your
appreciate that.
mountain.
Exactly.
All right. peeps, I appreciate everybody coming through at Fight O'Clock, because even though we started late, it was still Fight O'Clock.
And let us know if you like this new look for the
Yes, definitely.
show here.
Let us know. If you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, please do. Let us know if you like the look in the chat. Even if you're a lurker, you know what a lurker is, guys. The people who watch the show and chill and never say anything,
Yeah, we
but
like
they
them
watch
too.
it.
We
We
like the
love
lurkers.
y'all. We
Yeah.
love y'all.
Hey, we're gonna
Let
be
us
in
know.
LA.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Next week, we should be doing this show in person, just so you guys know. And we'll be doing it might not look like this, but it will be in person. You will have the two of us next to each other. I might be sitting in his lap.
No.
Hey, maybe we'll have a secret guest, in-person guest appearance by someone. Who knows? Maybe someone pretty cool.
That'd be pretty dope. I hope Roy's there. It's my dog. So I appreciate everybody watching as always. God bless and peace.